We can thrive in good times and we can thrive in bad times, but it took time to get there.
Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Leadership with Glass Steam. I am your host with another message that can take your leadership to the next level. Tonight, I have something special for you. Like I said, I have something very special for you. I have my main man, Robert Bobby Jenkins, in the house. I call him Bobby B. Bobby B is a real estate investor, relationship coach. For those of you who need some coaching, and he's also a speaker. But the thing that I want to focus on tonight, I want to focus on his relationship, the husband part of that relationship. I mean, he's also a dad, but I really want to hone into that relationship. And here's why. Bobby B is one of the youngest friends that I have that has been married for 20 years and they're happy. And it's not like, yeah, I'm happy. I mean, but it's really, you know, two people in this thing called marriage for the long haul. And I hope he tells just a little bit of his story, because I believe that whatever doesn't destroy a relationship makes it stronger. And hopefully he'll give you some insight on his story. But I wanted to bring this message, this relationship message, because I know some of us were going through a very difficult time, being around our significant other, our partners, during this quarantine season that we're experiencing here around the world. And I wanted just to bring some advice, some guidance, some strategies that you can use during this time, so you can not only live with your significant other, your partner, but you can thrive together during this time, and you can teach others how to thrive. So without further ado, I am going to ask Bobby B to come online with me. Let me see. I am waiting for Bobby B right now. It's connecting. Oh, we are connected. Hey, I'm glad we connected. Hey, Bobby. First, let's do a simple test. If it looks like I'm looking at you, just give me a thumbs up, because I really don't know where to look like I'm looking at you. So
I got you.
okay, so does it look like I'm looking at you?
It looks like you're looking at the camera. Yeah.
Okay. Because I want to. I constantly do that, and people are like, "What is he looking at?" I'm trying to
Focus over here. Bring it over here.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Hey, I'm glad you're here, Bobby. I just want to just to let everyone know that Bobby is going to be talking about, the investments in a relationship, how that looks, how to apply order in your relationships or incorporate order in your relationships. And he's also going to talk about something that's called the ARP formula. And
V.
I know
V.
you guys, huh?
ARV, like Victor.
ARB value.
Yes.
That's right.
Value.
So no, don't let me give it away yet. No.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to wait to the whole video to find out what that acronym means.
Oh wow.
So Bobby, I've already given everyone a little bit of background about yourself. Could you just give us just some highlight for those of us that's on the line that don't know you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Bobby B. I am a speaker. I'm a real estate investor. I've been married for, it's going on 20 years coming up in September. My wife and I have been together. We would have known each other 22 years, which has happened to be one of my favorite numbers. And we've been married 20 years. And, you know, like every relationship, things go up and down. What was significant and very unique about our specific relationship, we experienced major hardships, major difficulties. One of the major obstacles that we had to overcome was being married that whole time. My wife had a few ectopic pregnancies, and for people who don't know what that is, then that means basically that the baby stuck in the tubes, right? And it could literally kill you. And if it happens one time, it's very bad for you. And it happened a few times. So part of that, one of the biggest challenges for us, we wanted 7 children, 7 kids, right? We thought we wanted 7 kids. It was funny because, it's funny and it's not. During the time, like we really wanted it, right? So it's like very emotional for us. And so the doctor comes out one time and my wife is inside. She, had to go in for a major surgery. And inside, the doctor comes out to get me. I'm there by myself alone. And the doctor comes out and basically says, look, this has happened too many times. If this happens again, she could die, period. Just like that. So the recommendation was to cut out her last tube, and they did that. So our dreams of having 7 children literally just went up in the air. And it was tough. It was tough, when we had to come back home from that. Right around that time also, we were supposed to be buying a property, and the property didn't work out, the one we were getting. We ended up moving back in with my mother. So I'm a 30-year-old man moving in with my mom. And, that was a very challenging time. But, like anything else, relationships can get better. So our relationship got better. And, I was doing real estate deals, made it into an article in Forbes magazine. And that was part of one of my highlights. And, when the market crashed, the rug got pulled from up under me. And, just basically a series of bad decisions and bad things going downhill. Both my wife and I, we both ended up in federal prison. And so after that, we relocated to Jacksonville, literally came to Jacksonville with $26 in our pockets, no house, no car, no money, no nothing, and starting from scratch. So we took a series of several hits, major, apocalypse hits. So like we joke sometimes, say, look, we've been through 2 apocalypses, 6 COVID-19, we've experienced these things. So in the process, we found several things that work for us, that help us through hard times. We can thrive in good times and we can thrive in bad times, but it took time to get there.
Wow, that's an amazing story. Wow, man, every time I hear that story, I just, it just gives me goosebumps. But Bobby, as you were speaking, I was thinking about the high rates of divorce that I read about in I think it was CNN, some sort of CNN some sort of CNN article where they said that during the COVID-19 season, that divorce rates has gone up.
Mm.
And I it's just it's we have already have been teetering towards breakup before the COVID-19 epidemic.
Yeah.
And now it seems as though someone just pushed us off the cliff, where we no longer desire to want to be around our significant other or our partner for long periods of time. And how has COVID-19 affected your relationship, and what are some guidance that you can give us to figure out how do we not only live together, but we thrive together?
Yes, definitely. So COVID, I've been calling it the connoissaurus. I call it all kinds of names, anything except the real name. But this experience is an opportunity, right? One thing, I'm in real estate. I follow a lot of wealthy people and people that are in real estate, things like that. I like to listen to see what they have to say times like this, right? So it said, somebody like Warren Buffett says that when things are going bad, somebody like him, he goes towards it, right? And he looks at it as an opportunity. And then other people will look at something like that and run away from it. So my wife and I, we tend to take on challenges when something presents itself in front of us. It's an opportunity. My friend Mark always says that a problem is nothing more than an opportunity in work clothes. It's all in how you see it. If you're going to see it as being bad, it's going to be bad unless you make it good. But it's going to be about your consciousness and your awareness concerning it. So in the relationship for us, I've been implementing little things for myself because I'm on a self-development path, a path of achievement and success. And so I've taken upon myself to make certain changes around my house during this time. It's an opportunity to get to those things that you said I'm too busy for. I can't do it. I have to work late. And, boom, boom. You always got an excuse for what you can't do, right? Okay.
Right.
Listen, the entire world is on pause. Bam.
Mm.
What do you have to do?
Mm.
Nothing, man. Nothing. In
Yeah.
some cases, the mortgage companies are freezing. You don't got to pay the mortgage. They're saying you can pay it back at the end. They handing out stimulus checks. They're handing out unemployment. This is an opportune time to dig and dive deep into your relationships and tell the people that you really care about and that you really love and that you say you want to be around for the rest of your life. This is an opportunity to share with them, to spend time with them, to invest in them, to let them know that they are the most important thing in the world. If you don't have to work 24/7, then brother, don't do it. This is a time to do other things. So this has been an opportunity for us.
So I want you to dive into that self development piece that you talked about. How are you developing yourself so you can show up better for your relationship? What does that look like?
Yeah. So in developing myself, it was funny because it started back in prison, right? In federal prison. I had to sit there and really think about, like, how did I get here? I can remember being a kid standing in grandma's kitchen and she said, "You're going to be great. You're going to do something special. You're unique. You're different." And I'm sitting on the top of a steel bunk, with concrete all around me with four other guys in a tight area, thinking to myself, how did I get here? Right. But it was so beautiful because I took it as an opportunity. For the first time, I had been unplugged from society since I'm 9 years old.
Mm.
I've been hustling, working, grinding, going since 9. And when you look up and you really think about it, you're like, how far did I really get from 9 to 44 doing all that work, right? Where did I really get? And look where I'm landed. So I took it upon myself that I don't know something that I don't know. At least I know I didn't know what I didn't know. And, a guy handed me a book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. He's like, something about you, you're different. He handed me that book. And man, that started off to be self-development. But here's what I have people know. You don't have to, go through something to get to that point. My wife was trying to tell me about Think and Grow Rich before the crisis happened. When I sat, it wasn't until I got to prison, I began to really listen to beginning things, say, some of these things, my wife was mentioning little things to me and I had an opportunity to grow and develop. But, ego was so strong and so big and was so dominant that I really couldn't hear some of the people that were trying to give me, that great advice, right? So in the self-development portion, one of the biggest questions I began to ask myself is, who is in control? I had to know that, man. Like, that was the biggest question. Who's in control? Because I'm looking at a life that had been really impacted in every area, spiritually, relationally, emotionally, financially, in every way you can name. There's a ripple effect running through my life. And I was asking, who the hell is in control of this, man? Because everything went wrong. My wife is sitting in the prison. I'm sitting in prison. I don't know if we're getting back together. I don't know what's going to happen.
Wow.
So that's when I began to ask that question, only to come to find out I'm the captain of my ship. I'm the author of my book, right? I'm in charge of my destiny. It's up to me to do that. But I had to really come to that point so I can ask that question. So in self-development, what it caused me to realize is that everything that's happening outside of me is a result of what's going on inside of me. So now I begin to look at things like, okay, if this area is wrong over here, I'm not getting along with this person. First of all, this person is in my zone. So if they're in my zone, it's for a reason. The question is why. If they're not supposed to be there, I need to be somewhere else. But if they're supposed to be in my life and it's not, we're not coming into agreement, it's my job to, at least on my side, to search out and to seek out the agreement. Where have I fallen short on my integrity on the agreement side? And then I can begin to examine myself, but it comes first from the awareness. In order to do that, again, diving deep into self-development, one of the first things you'll discover is that, you are what you think and you are responsible for the outcome. And so digging into that, started from prison and coming back. So when I look now, I literally just see a bunch of people that are in federal prison, literally unplugged. They have the ability to unplug, not be worried about all the bills, not be scrambling around, and actually turn to the person you love, you care about, and say, you know what? I possibly have not put in all of the time I should have put in. And so, one of the things, you got little signs and things that happen. So, things are not right.
And you know what? Let's dive into those little signs that you talk about. What are those little signs, and how do we deal with them when they do show up, so they don't turn into, because I know sometimes they're little like back in the days they used to have this movie called Gremlin, right? So it used to be this little cute little thing, right? And then you I think it was water that activated the meanness out of it, and it would turn into this horrible creature.
Jeez, bro.
And so when you're in relationships, it's easy for things to just go south on you. So how do we, I mean, you already showed us how to prepare ourselves, but what are those telltale signs that something might be going awry in the relationships, and what do we do to mitigate or to just cancel them out altogether?
Yeah. So looking for those warning signs, avoidance is always a big thing, right? You're kind of avoiding each other. Like you might take the long way to the bedroom. We're like, come on, man, it's 3 feet that way. You took the 30 instead of the 3. Something ain't right? But again, you gotta pay attention. So lack of communication, avoidance, body language. And again, I'm talking about I'm a husband, right? I'm also a father, like you mentioned. So I'm really talking from a husband standpoint, right? Because, as far as emotions are concerned, women and men going to process emotions differently, right? And as a man, there's some things that, we didn't grow up on, having a cycle every month. That's not, we don't have a background with that. But when you get married, you're coming into a new a space with two people coming together. You have to now begin to learn new things. You have to learn about a cycle or menstrual and when it is, right? Because, one of the things, as we're talking about emotions and processing them differently, when men get scared and uncomfortable, we like to isolate, bro. We like to pull off to the side, go to the man cave. Yo, leave me alone. I'm scared. I'm uncomfortable. So, it's kind of like when you go into a restaurant, you want to sit. I want to look at the door. Something pop up. I want to know what's happening. I want to see it, right? So in your cave, it's a way to surround yourself. It's a way to protect yourself, right? We don't like the idea of being too vulnerable. So when those emotions arise, it's good if a female who's not been in a relationship or never been married, or so, you're looking and saying, okay, he's in the cave. He's been in there 3 times in a row. You got to become aware, and as you become aware, hey, something is going on. On the other side, for a female, again, they have cycles. They process their emotions differently. So during that time, my wife and I, we have a special dynamic to our relationship, but I'm aware of her cycle. I know when it is, right? So she might be a little bit more emotional than normal. So she might cry or something. Normally, guys have that Mr. Fix-It. I'm one of those Mr. Fix-It dudes. I like to try to come fix everything. But I've recognized that, like maybe during her cycle, her menstrual, just ease up a little bit. You know, sometimes you just let her put her head there and shut the hell up. You don't need to fix nothing. Just be there. Just shut up. So those are some of the things. And, you know, what we found is that, especially for men, because we like to process our emotions differently, it's good if you have a safe space with other men. Right.
Mm.
And so we've created a space like that. And when these men get in this space, sometimes you're talking and you just, you know, you didn't grow up that way. You don't understand, but you hear another dude, you're like, oh, that's what's happening. Like, yeah, dude. Like, you didn't know that? Like, nah. Oh, so and now you good because you know it got
Now it
nothing to
makes
do with
sense.
you. Yeah. You know, it's like, so it's not me. She's not crying because of me. Nah, bro, it's a cycle, bro. Like, when is the cycle? Is it 28 days, 22? Like, I don't know. Dude, find out. That's how you know things is about to change. You want to get ahead of the curve, right? We men, you want to win. Winning means that we're on the same team towards a common end and a common outcome. As I'm listening to this guy right now, Jay Morrison, a lot, he's talking about being the CEO of your last name. You know, you talk about leadership as a, you know, traditional. Again, I'm just speaking traditionally. I know the dynamics of different relationships exist out there, but as a man, you're looking to be the leader of your household, you know, the CEO of your last name. That means somebody's going to have to put some thought and attention on this thing. You want somebody to follow you, you got to have some type of plan. Having a plan means you have to become first aware of what's going on, get information.
I want to change the dynamics a little bit.
Okay.
And I wish your wife could respond to this question, but let's flip it a little bit. And how does your wife see your type of what is it for you that makes you run into the man cave, and what does she do to kind of get you out of that state?
Gotcha. So sometimes it's not always the removal of a thing, right? But it's the assistance of it, or the helping along, you know, aiding the person. In my particular case, I do like to go to my man cave, but in this particular case, it's my closet, and that's where I get my meditation in. So I may go there by myself. I may spend the night there. Sometimes we think, you know, you got to, you know, my wife and I, we go to bed, we hold hands. Call it what you want. We hold hands. But there's some nights where we like, yo, that thing ain't going down tonight. No. No holding hands. It's too much. Don't do it. Right? So, and some nights we like, who thought of this foolishness? Right? And we laugh at each other. Right? But it's making good of the good and the bad. You know what I mean? Sometimes my wife, she may sleep in her office. There again, it's not always that you have to be in the bed and, you know, right next to each other and see each other all the time. My wife may spend the night up in her studio, but because she may be just working on something. You know what I mean? She may be in the womb. As a husband, I'm watching the movement. I don't think anything's wrong with us. No bad communication. I believe she may be processing. Sometimes we can be, you can be birthing something in your life. And if your spouse is not unaware, they think something's going wrong. So I may go to my meditation closet, stay there overnight. I may do it 2 nights in a row. Just because we're, you know, they say we have to be in the same house doesn't mean you have to be right up under each other. At the same time, it doesn't mean, hey, Bobby said, go to your room, I go to my room. No, I'm not saying that either. I'm saying we're finding a healthy balance of, you know, all of the possibilities. And a part of that comes through communication, talking to the other person.
And so I'm gonna ask this the same question a different way, because I really want to understand this. What are your bad habits, as far as, because we all are imperfect.
Yes, yes.
And what is that thing that what is that thing that happens to you that makes you run into the closet, not for meditation, but just as a coping mechanism for avoidance? And what does she do to get you out of that state, or do you bounce out of that state all by yourself?
Yeah, so it's a combination of both. If you know, sometimes you may want it to be one way because you have a certain belief, but again, in a great relationship, in a good relationship, it's that up and down, that back and forth, that give and take. You know, sometimes things may go wrong. We know we might just need some quiet time. Somebody may say something they got no business saying. Being together long enough, you kind of understand This might be chill out mode. So for me, sometimes I go and I want to try to fix it right away. But one of my coping mechanisms, sometimes good, bad, or indifferent, is sometimes I may just be quiet. And I'm being quiet because I'm processing, you know, how can I fix? What can we do? What needs to be done? I need to think and reflect on the situation. Sometimes, bro, you got to go bad because you screwed up, you did it wrong, and it's horrible. And you got to go. But when you get that alone time separate from the person, it should be used for thinking about it. So sometimes, yeah, I may mess up something. I got to go sit and think about it. And sometimes you think right up front, yo, that's their problem. They did it. It's their fault. I'm not wrong. They're wrong. And then you sit for, you know, maybe a couple hours. And you're like, nah, probably that might be on me. That one might be on me. Because I'm thinking about it from her perspective, not from my perspective. And in the heat of the moment, when those emotions are high, sometimes you don't do that. So I think it's good and it's bad. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but you have to find out what works for you. But again, it's the awareness of it, thinking about it, putting some attention to it.
What are some of the things that she uses to for as far, because I know she's heavily into personal development.
Yes.
So I mean, because that makes you guys such a great match, because it's such a weight on one person when you have one spouse that's into personal development and the other couldn't care less. Oh my God. I mean, that is a challenge, but you guys are both in it. And so I was wondering, what are some of the cues that you take from her, and what are some of the things that she does to develop herself for success wise?
So
especially in the context of relationships.
Yes. So it didn't start off like that. It did not start off like that. You know, when we came back home, we both started a personal development journey, right? But my wife took off. I mean, she was like reading book after book, listening to audio. I mean, she was like deep diving into this stuff. I had like Think and Grow Rich and Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. I was going slow motion. And she started to make these strides. And to be honest, I felt like I was getting left behind, you know? And my wife, she kept saying things like, I'm going to hold my frequency. And I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? What does that mean, frequency? You saying doing something without me? What you know, I don't know what's going on, right? But so fear initially got me started to thinking about it heavily. Like, yo, she may develop herself and move on without you, bro. Is that what you want? So I was at a deciding point. Do I at least examine this and look at this and see what's going on? Or do I stay in my old way? Because I had a choice. It was a fork in the road for sure. And the one fork was saying, hey, you know, hey, you're afraid and you're being fearful. So if you don't go dig into this, then you're a sucker. You know what I mean? Or you can choose to develop yourself, look into this area, see what's going on. And you might say, hey, this is not for me. That's okay too. But initially, I was afraid of getting left behind. And I didn't want that because we had gotten so far. We had come so far and done so much. But I can tell that there was a clear separation. So I began to, you know, not go to her. I can't tell. It's still ego involved. I can't tell you. I was like, hey, let me ask you a question. How does this work? No, I'm asking you nothing. I'm in the corner like this. Right? See how this thing works, right? So I went in the corner and started doing a little bit. And our first argument was heated. We talked about law of attraction, Glassstein. We almost got a divorce over law of attraction. But we almost got a divorce over Master P too. That's another story. But law of attraction sent me into a spiral because when I found out that this was the new belief system, that you attract to yourself what you are, I was heated. I was fired up. I was pissed. And I was so against it. And so now you say, man, it's so dope that the two of you guys are self-development. I'm like, nah, bro, I started with an argument. That's how this thing got started. But it was fear, you know? It was me not processing and not understanding what was going on. So now I do a lot more development in business for myself, for speaking, for real estate. That's my primary, and spirituality as well. My wife's primary thing is spirituality. and metaphysics, and you guys are very similar, the conversation. So she studies everything. She doesn't want to omit anything. She likes to take it all in and then make her own decision on which direction she wants to go. Now that has caused something, because we both have come from a spiritual background, from Christianity, in a relationship. And
religious background.
Yeah, man, religious background. So when we left out of the religious background, what are we going to do next? And so she began her quest to figure out what she wants to do next. Me, I was still a little pissed off that it didn't work out. I was in my emotions about it. So we do a lot of self-development now. We cross-reference information, and it's very it's really fun. And I like it too, because I like to find commonalities. I like to find, like, how are we the same? So she may be telling me something in metaphysics or something like that. I may remember something from Christianity, but I might cross-reference that to business and real estate investing, like relationships. We talked about the ARV. See, this is what I've learned, right? If you want it to work, it will work. Especially, even in damaged relationships, we have to begin to look at it as an opportunity. In real estate investing, when you see a property that hasn't been maintained and taken care of, you say that property has an ARV, an after repaired value. Meaning that once you put some attention to it and fix it up in certain areas and make it beautiful, it's going to be worth more. Its utility is more. Its profit is more, right? And so that's what we're looking for in relationships, whether that's with a single parent and a child. It could be in that relationship. It could be with your significant other. But you have to put the work in. And so one of the things, like, we'll talk about that a little bit as far as suggestions, but you got to put the work in.
I like that. I like that, because there's a relationship that many of us tend to skip when we talk about relationship. We talk about the relationship with a significant other. We talk about the relationship with a parent-child relationship. We talk about the relationship with friends. But there's one relationship that we seem to omit over and over and over again.
There we go.
And it's becoming a problem.
Yeah.
And I know you know what that relationship is, so I'm going to let you tell us what that relationship is.
So, relationship with yourself. Self-love, self-care, man. It has to start there. You have to start there. Like I said, initially it led me, the wrong direction. I was like, how can I let my grandmother down? I got on there. My wife, she's getting away from me. Fear led me. So I had a bunch of bad things to get me jump started, but then ultimately, as I got into it, I began to examine. I say, hey, this is on me. This is my life. Like, I'm the one responsible for my life. So I have to start even paying myself attention. Your relationship with your spouse or the other person or other people is usually a reflection of how you are with yourself. And that is the door,
Well said.
right? That is the door that you have to walk through. And and once you say, it's because of you, or you're the reason, or I can't be, once you start doing that, you're not even at the right door. You can't solve it with that door.
Wow. I'm like trying to recall everything that you're saying, because this is like a coaching session for me, because the information is so valuable. For those of you who are just joining us, we're talking about relationship investment during the COVID-19 epidemic, or season. I like to call it a season, because seasons passed.
I like that.
They have not come to stay, they have come to pass. I really do believe that. So Bobby has given us some advice as to how do we handle these dynamics of this time when two people are stuck together in a house or an apartment. Oh, good Lord, an apartment.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? How do you handle the pressure of having to be around the person, 24/7? But here's what I want to remind you, and Bobby did a great job in addressing this, is that when you're married, or you have someone that you have made a decision, you have made a commitment for this person to take this journey with you, you signed up for this. This is part of the contract. Whether it was a legal contract where you went to court or whatever, or before a minister, but you signed the contract. This is what you signed up for. You signed up for better or for worse. Once you make a commitment, say, hey, I want you, whomever that significant other is, you say that I want you next to me. That's it. That's it. You signed up for better or for worse. You don't have to go before a judge or before a magistrate or whomever for them to officially have you sign a contract. And so this is the kind of thing that I want everyone to understand, especially around this time when divorce rates or you hear it on the news all the time, divorce rates are going up and everything, and you're like, wow. I mean, we can't let pressure bust these pipes. I mean, because anything that doesn't destroy a relationship only makes it stronger. And the number one relationship that you really need to focus on, since we're all focused, everywhere you go right now, we're focused on mental health, right? So the number one relationship that you have to focus on is mental health. Because that's the one that your partner, your significant other, your partner is counting on you to take care of yourself so that you can take care of her, or so that you can take care of him. They're counting on you to take care of yourself. I know Bobby's wife, so I know that's the type of woman she is, because Bobby is that type of person. Because alongside of every great man, notice I said side, alongside of every great man, there's a great woman. Alongside of every great man, a great woman, there's a great man. And that man can show up in different ways. Uncles, stepfathers, or husbands, or whatever. But it's just fascinating for me to, and it's such a pleasure for me to bring Bobby on and talk about a relationship that he had for 20 years and being young at it too. Usually when somebody's like, 50, 60 years old, you're like, I expect you to be married for 20 years. I kind of expect that of you. I don't expect to see you at the club.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, because doesn't it look funny when you see the old cat at the club? I mean, the more mature cats at the club trying to speak to some younger. I mean, it just doesn't look right. So we expect that. But when it's people around our age, similar ages, in their 40s and 30s, and you like, you've been married for 20 years and you're happy, and they're like, yes. It's wonderful. It's challenging, but wonderful. And so you want to know more, and I wanted to know more. And Bobby knows I'm always asking him about relationships. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna pretend to one. I'm not the best relationship person. I do understand commitment, but at the same time, I do understand that if relationships aren't working, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter whose fault it is, it's my responsibility to fix it. And the fixing starts with me. I really got to spend some time with me and fix me so I can be my best self for the other person when they do come. And we're speaking about attraction. We usually attract who we are, not what we want. And and Bobby made me aware of this in a coaching session. And so hit him up if you guys need more of this. He made me aware that it wasn't so much of the other person being different, but it had a lot to do with the other person being a mirror of me. Some of you guys, that went straight over your head. You're like, what is he talking about? Well, call Bobby and you'll know what I'm talking about. So Bobby has some fascinating ways. So we're going to take a few minutes. He has some
Okay.
very fascinating ways of solutions, and I want him to just touch on them. He has he has these challenges that he does, and the second one is order, and the other one you already heard is ARV, after repair value. So Bobby, give us some solutions, man. Give the family some solutions, man.
Yeah. So, one of the things that's huge on this self-development journey, obviously, is reading, right? Taking in knowledge, gaining more knowledge. And knowledge is at our fingertips, like literally. It's not like back in the day, you got to hit the library and all that stuff, Google and all, but it's all available to us. One of the books that's really big, a story, I'll tell you a story very quickly to hit home on this. Um, y- Again, I said this before, and our research shows a lot of men and women have difficulty having those communication, right? And it's because they think that the other person is so different than them. But when you get to like things like, our men's group that we have, you get in there, you start to hear other people and you say, hey, we're kind of the same. It's just the missing communication. I was driving, I used to drive black car at the airport. I used to drive executives. So I had this executive come in and they were coming into town for a wedding. And as I was talking with the gentleman, he seemed kind of down. He was flying in just to hit the wedding with his wife, who was already there. And then he had to shoot right back out the next morning. So I'm going to drop him there and bring him back the next morning. We set everything up. We're talking, and he says to me, I find myself, I'm going to be retiring soon. Things are going to be changing. And I realize I haven't spent the time that I'm supposed to spend with my wife and my kids. When I'm there a little bit more often. I don't feel like I know them and they don't know me. He's missing the connection because he thought he was doing what he thought a husband is supposed to do: go out, grind, hustle, make the money, bring home. And that was the extent of his responsibility. But it's much more than that, right? And so as we began to talk, I shared with him a book, The 5 Love Languages. And I asked him, what's your wife's love language? Well, he wasn't really aware. He doesn't know. And I said, well, that's where you can start. You can pick up that book, The 5 Love Languages, and you can begin to learn how your partner likes to receive their admiration, right? So in after repaired value, we talk about that. That could be appreciation, or it could be respect or value, right? All those words are the same. You're esteeming or respecting or prizing someone, right? So having that conversation with him, I talked to him about the 5 love languages, and we talked about there's words of affirmation. So is it okay if I run them off?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, so you got your words of affirmation. You can do something as quickly as like doing an unexpected note. Leave a post-it in the freezer or the refrigerator, or you can put it in the car, in the seat, or the dashboard. Hey, thinking about you, girl, or what you doing, or listen. The imagination is vast. So words of affirmation, unexpected notes. It could be gifts. You can give the person gifts as well. Thoughtful gifts. If you know they like peanut M&Ms. Somebody like that loves gifts, if you know they like peanut M&Ms, you bring them a bag of peanut M&Ms, you've done the world, right? I used to think as a husband, man, when you get flowers, you got to come home with these big old, thing. I realized, bro, you know what I realized? If you give a big bouquet of flowers, if you give a $10,000 ring, or give a brand new car, or you give a sweater, they're all equal in a woman's eyes. I'm telling you. Now, you call it what you want, but it doesn't last. In the man's eyes, this is the big one. This is a small one. In their eyes, it's just more love, more contribution to the love bank. So they're all equivalent. You don't got to do the big stuff. It's just the consistent stuff. So the gifts are something else you can do. Acts of service or chores. So here's one challenge that you can do. I have this thing in my bathroom where it says, imagine your home totally organized. This whole thing started with a sign I put on my mirror. Imagine your home totally organized. So as I am working on self-development in my life, I would stand in front of the mirror and then look at myself in the eyes, and I'd stand right under the sign, imagine your home totally organized. And then I began to just do little things, organize my closet, clean this, clean that. I'm doing chores around the house, right, to start off. Next thing you know, I'm picking up momentum because I'm realizing I want the pots here, I want the plates here, I want the shirts here, I want this to go here, and I'm bringing order to my life. These are things that I'm running and going, I don't normally get a chance to get to. But as I realized that I clean my environment, I'm cleaning my mind. So my wife came in today. She says, "Oh, thank you so much for help." For but here's the thing now. I don't like, since this COVID thing been going on, I've been going with it. There's no dirty laundry. I keep no dirty laundry. I keep the kitchen clean and everything stays organized, right? It's something I'm working on for me to make me better. So my wife comes in and says, "Thank you so much for helping out." I'm like, this has been going on for like 6 weeks now. Thank you for helping me out. So it got switched where normally she would cook and clean and do all these things. I've taken the lead on those things, and that's for me to do that. But I know it gives her a rest and gives her more time to be creative, to do some of the things that she may want to do. The next thing is quality time. Create special moments is what you can create special moments. When we talk about communication, one of the things in that book he talks about is that, sometime a female may say to a male, like, hey, you want to watch TV, or what do you want to eat? Or do you want to go do you want to have dinner? Or like, what do you want to do? Very vague. And by asking, she's really just saying, hey, I want to spend some time with you, right? But the decisiveness on the man's part, we like to make decisions. So one of the things he talks about is that women can do is direct communication. That would actually help. Say, hey, I'd like to have dinner this weekend. Would you mind picking the place? It's very direct. So now what happens is you're actually saying what you want to do. It's not open. Hey, what do you want to do this weekend? You want to have dinner. Just say that. I want to have dinner. How about you pick the place? Now you're working together and you're playing into the gender roles, if that's the way your house runs. And you said directly what you want. And now the husband has a chance to be spontaneous, to put something together and be creative and still make a decision and feel like the man. Both worlds coming together, but you got to be aware of that in order to be able to play the game. The last thing is physical touch. So here's a second challenge you can do. The second challenge I did for my wife was she makes jewelry. She's an intuitive guide. She helps women to heal. And so she works with her hands a lot, making jewelry, like literally like those waist beads. A lot of ones that the women wear, they come off, computers, whatever, make them machines. My wife sits there by hand and does each little tiny bead, right? So a lot of times her hands are jammed up. So I said, I'm going to go past the hands. I'm going to give her full body massage. And I decided to do it, and I did it for a month straight. I said, I'm going to do it when I'm tired. I'm going to do it when I'm hungry. I'm going to do it when I don't want to do it. I'm just going to keep doing it. And the reason why I'm going to do it is because I want her to know I care. I appreciate you. You're valuable to me. And I think this would help you. And I appreciate you giving me the space I need to grow and to develop as well. So I get the benefit knowing that she's in a beautiful state to create, to love more, to be more, to grow more, to develop more. And I'm helping enhance that state because one of her language is physical touch. So as long as I'm hugging her, kissing her, holding her hand before we go to sleep, she feels safe, secure, and I'm in her world and we're together, right? And she does things for me also according to my language. But a challenge, 30 days, do a massage or read the book, find out your spouse or any person that you want to enhance the relationship with, learn their language based off the book, and then feed them their language for 30 days. I promise you, you're going to feel phenomenal. So that's the second thing you could do. The last thing, I hope I'm not giving too much.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. We need this.
Yes, absolutely. So the last thing is get back to your basics. Especially if you're in a damaged space. One of the things my wife and I had to do coming back home from federal prison, we had to rebuild and rekindle the relationship. There was a lot of things happened. A lot happened. It was a long time apart, but we ultimately knew we still wanted to be together. So we got back to the basics. What that means is go back to the beginning for when you first started. Remember how you met, how you came together. Talk about those things. See if you can remember what you were wearing. Make a game out of it, right? Mm. And then what it does is, because that's the point of impact. That's the point when at a certain point, they got your heart. They got your mind. You said, I'm with this person. When you get back to that space, you can bring that love alive and that connection alive by remembering that space. You can also imagine. Use your imagination. This is something my wife and I love to do. We have so much fun with it. We're like two big kids. We say things like, well, if you lived down the street from me when we were kids, I would have been by your house all the time. We would have been playing Lego and Connect Four, and I'd have tried to kiss you or something. You know, we play with it, man. We have fun with it, right? And it takes us and we create our own world, right? We're trying to find ways to get deeper. And then there's scars. This is the biggest part. When your partner opens up, and this is the biggest thing, healing and forgiveness are vital. They are vital. And you say, a lot of people say, yeah, this happened, that happened, I can't forgive. No, you can forgive. It's easy to forgive. You want to know how easy it is? Remember you at your worst. Remember you at your worst. Forgiveness comes like that, right? In other words, whatever that person is doing in front of you, chances are you've done it to somebody else in another way in the past, right? And you either didn't get caught, you didn't, whatever it was, or didn't admit to it, or got away from it, or what have you. But if you remember that time and remember your headspace during that time, you can remember how another person could forget to pick you up, or forget your birthday, or forget a special moment, right? It's possible because you've been there too. A lot of people are going through things, and during this time, this is a time for healing, forgiveness and healing, to heal yourself and to help the other person and give the other person a place to heal. If a man's been molested or gone through something and he's never talked about it or never opened up or anything like that, where is he supposed to go? How is he supposed to deal with that? When you're in a relationship and you're always around each other, and you're in how do you develop? How do you heal? Where do you go to grow, right? And sometimes that's a difficult thing, right? You can have any type of background. So it's important to put your relationship, everything doesn't go together. Some things I'm going to go talk about with my boys because I need a male's perspective, a sharp male's perspective. Something I don't talk to my boys about, I may talk with my mother about. And most things I'm going to talk to my wife about. But when it comes to my wife, and I don't know how, I'm doing research, I'm reading books, I'm talking to my boys, and I'm talking to women in my life that I trust. Especially having an older woman in your back pocket, if you're married, is a great thing. For my wife and I, it's our spiritual mom, Mother Coffee. She's been helping us. You must have a counselor or a person that you can go to if it gets too much for the two of you. You got to have somebody you can jump on the phone with. I can think back to Mother Coffee. We drive over there heated. I'm right, she right. And when we leave there, you're going to know you were wrong. We get in there, man. Mother Coffee, they've been married so long that she like, it's going to work out. She making some Johnny cake. She put the little blankie on me in the couch. I go to sleep. I wake up. I don't even know what I was angry at. We say she gives us honey ginger proverbs, right? So she has this way of taking the medicine, putting the honey with it. You go in there, you get chastised. And when you came out, we were like, did she just spank us? Did we just get a beating? Because I'm not sure. You don't know, but you know everything is going to be okay. Yeah. And so having people that are in relationships that are further along with you, helps you. It helps you sometimes when you're beyond your emotions, you're beyond your intellect, that, they say, just relax, you'll be fine. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirts, give it 24 hours and watch what happens. You're like, they ain't going to do nothing in 24 hours. And in 24 hours, that thing be solved. And you're like, how they know that? They've been down that road and they've already experienced. So awareness is the key, man. But this is the time for us to heal. My wife has been instrumental in my healing, man. I needed healing that I didn't even know I need healing from. But my wife doing her self-development and reading her books and healing herself led me into the road of healing myself also, and paying attention to the areas where I know I needed to come up. So while it was fear that got me started, it was, it turned out to be a good fear. It turned out to be a good thing because it led me into my own discovery.
Yo, that was phenomenal. Phenomenal advice, phenomenal guidance. I love the strategies. Really appreciate you. I just want to say this, guys. As men in relationships, we think we're the leader. Hey,
you're telling the truth, boy.
Hey, if don't if I could give you one takeaway from all of this, from my life, we are not the leaders in the relationship. Call yourself a protector. Call yourself a helpmeet, but you are not the leader in the relationship.
Yeah.
Call yourself a coach if that makes you feel good. But she's the one that signs the checks. She's the owner. You could be the coach, you could be the head coach, but she's the owner of the team.
You terrible.
So if you get that implanted in your head, you'll be good. Thank you very much, Bobby, for your time. We appreciate you so much, and we are so much better for it that you had an opportunity, that we had an opportunity to hear you tonight. Thank you very much. It's only 2 minutes left. I wanted to ask if anyone have any questions. We only have 2 more minutes, so I'm going to ask just for one question. If you have a question, go ahead and put it in the comment section, and we'll try to. How can we join Bobby's group? Oh, wow. Hey, Bobby, could you put your information on there so people can get in contact with you?
Yeah. I'm old school. I pick up the phone.
Yeah, you got like another couple more seconds to do that before
I just put it in the post section. It's cool.
Huh? Yeah.
I put my number. Anybody interested, you can go ahead and give me a call.
Take down that number, 904-888-6800. And you can also hit him up on Instagram. DM him also. And he's also, you're on Facebook also, right?
I'm on Facebook, but it hits me up on Instagram, Bobby B Inspires. BOBBY Inspires.
Yeah. So hit him up. He's a great person to talk to. And his wife is also a treasure trove of information. So ladies, look his wife up if you want that handmade Rolls Royce jewelry. that handmade stitch Rolls Royce kind of stuff. If you want that type of jewelry, hit his wife up and support his team. All right, Bobby. Thanks a lot, man. I want to say goodnight to everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. Remember, next Wednesday, we'll be here at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and I am out of here. Good night, everyone. Peace. Hey, if you want to see more leadership tips that can help you on your journey, check out this video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.